To be young and 20 again. The money mistakes I've made. I wish I could rewind the clock and go back in time and do it all over again. What would I change? What would you change?
I'd get myself a sugar mama so I too can save 99% of my income. Oh, these high heels hurt.
Oh my God.
That hurt. The things I do for my intros.
Hi, my name is Andrei Jikh, and we're going to talk about the sugar mama part later, but first I want to talk to you about my personal finance money mistakes that you should avoid in your 20s, 30s, 11Cs, you name it. But first, I want to thank you so much for watching this video and watching all my other videos, whether it's your first time or if you've been here with me for a while. Thank you for making me feel less alone. Even though I'm in my room at my parents' house, recording this in front of absolutely no one, completely alone. Now, I realize many people have made videos like this one, so I'm just another voice in an endless sea of YouTube voices, but I promise this video is not going to be your cookie cutter, copy and paste advice about saving more for retirement and wishing to spend less on our credit cards. We all know we should be better with money. We all know to save more money for our retirements by contributing more to our Roth IRAs, our HSAs, our 401ks. We all know that we shouldn't be shopping at Whole Foods and buying organic food. Deep down, we all know. So you're welcome. I just summarized all of those money mistake videos for you in literally 10 seconds, but this video is gonna be none of those reasons. I wanna share with you my personal life stories that have taught me so much about life and money in general. And I'm sure you know by now that 85% of Americans have admitted to making some sort of money mistake in their life, which is crazy to me because I thought that number would have been a lot higher considering how Americans spend money. But nearly all of them cite the same reasons: consumer debt, credit card debt, going on too many expensive vacations, eating out at Chipotle too much, eating too many elotes. Just kidding, you can never eat too many elotes. Those things are addicting and I wish Chipotle sold them. Hey, give me your tots. Let's kick it off with money mistake number one. And if you're a parent watching this with your kid, I suggest you plug their ears or put them outside the room because you are not gonna like this one. I'll give you a second. Number one, going to college. Now, lucky for me, I was on a scholarship and nearly half of all of my tuition costs were completely covered, and yet I still feel like college was a complete waste of an entire year of my life. I have over $10,000 that I paid for classes and books that are still collecting dust. They're brand new, sitting in my garage right now that I'm not even using. But besides the $10,000 that I lost, which could be worth well over $21,000 had I invested that money in the stock market, that would have been just extra money in my account. Besides the money, I would say the biggest thing I've lost from the entire experience is the opportunity cost of time. I could have been doing anything else like practicing my cardistry skills or failing at YouTube a lot earlier. In all seriousness, I really could have done something a lot better with my time, but more importantly, I could have saved myself so much stress and headache that ultimately didn't even matter at the end of the day. I felt so pressured to make every little microscopic decision to perfection, like it was going to define me for the rest of my life. If you're going through that too, I can honestly say that now, looking back in my 30s to my 20s, that none of those decisions made any difference to the quality of my life today. The tests that I failed, the homeworks that I forgot to do, the presentations that I missed, the books I didn't read, the essays I BS'd, none of it came to define me. But what did come to define me is that one time I yelled at this girl thinking she was my friend. When she turned around, I realized she wasn't my friend. So I continued to yell like my friend was behind her, even though she wasn't, because that was a lot easier to do than admit that I made a mistake and hurt my fragile ego. I wasn't about to do that. In fact, I still wake up in cold chills thinking about that one moment that they said, "Enjoy your movie." And I responded, "You too." I was in 6th grade. I was 12 years old. And that moment still haunts my dreams. That moment came to define me. Don't get me wrong, college can be great, and it was great for everyone 30 years ago when fewer people went. But now when you have tens of thousands of people given the same virtue signal in combination with a slow economy, with the automation of jobs, and people living longer, you get a lot more people with debt unable to find a job. And the big decision of college right now is purely based on 2 decades of neural programming from our parents telling us the moment that we are old enough to speak how to think and what to do, which creates complacency because we never get to ask the most important question of all: why? That question alone has single-handedly gotten me into so much trouble and out of so much trouble. If you're able to ask why, you're going to make the right decision. But if you create a society of complacency, bad things will happen. And this, of course, is backed up by statistical data where nearly a third of all students going to college will switch their major within the first 3 years. Imagine the statistics of people who have entire careers that have nothing to do with their field of study at all. Just goes to show you that uncertainty is there, and we shouldn't push people to make such big life decisions when we have no idea why we're making them in the first place. And money mistake, regret number 2, is not getting a credit card sooner. And before age 25, all I used was cash and debit cards. I never used a credit card, and I should have gotten one sooner, but I didn't, 'cause I'm dumb, yo. Just kidding. It's partially that, but thanks to my parents, when we came here as immigrants, they made some mistakes. And as much as I love my parents, anyone could have made these credit card mistakes coming here as an immigrant. And of course, with that came ruined credit histories. And with that, it became very difficult to do basic things like get financing on a car, financing on a house, and even essentials like renting out an apartment. So naturally, I avoided credit cards, and I had no idea that if used responsibly, which is literally as easy as not spending money you don't have, keeping your utilization rate low, just pay off your balance every single month by setting it to auto pay, you could have incredible perks like cash back, points for travel, free stuff, consumer protections, roadside assistance, and so much more. I had no idea of any of this stuff. Credit cards could literally be your best friend in a time where you're taken advantage of, or if you simply bought something you just didn't like and you wanted to return, they will fight to get you your money back. I didn't know any of that. And money mistake regret number 3, buying useless luxuries. Specifically, this exact bed that I'm sitting on right now, which is an Italian platform bed with an original MSRP price tag of $8,000. But I thought I got the best deal on it because I paid only $2,500. That was with no mattress, which is ridiculous, but it does do something cool. It turns the light on and it looks really cool. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought maybe if I could just take a picture of this bed and send it to a girl that I really liked, she'd say to herself, "Boy, I wasn't sure about you before, but now that you showed me those lights in that bed, I'm coming right over." Yeah, but that never happened. The second dumbest purchase decision that I ever made was my BMW 745i series. I bought it in cash, sight unseen, on eBay for $16,000. That's 4 bad decisions that I fit in one sentence, yay big. I thought I was getting such a great deal because the car's original price tag was over 80 grand. I'm getting such a good deal on such a fancy car, but do you really need a V8 with 325 horsepower to go get Chipotle? Yes. Yes, I do. I specifically bought that car to try to impress my neighbors when I moved into a $1.8 million high-rise condo that my employer was entirely paying for when we were running our video production office, which is also where I lived, so I had to fit in. And I did. It was awesome and a complete waste of money because that car also cost me over $3,000 in yearly maintenance cost because BMW stands for break my wallet. And if invested, over $21,000 10 years ago could now be worth over $40,000 extra in my Robinhood account. But nope, that's money I don't have anymore because I was too busy trying to impress people. And money regret mistake number 4, I'm gonna call my girlfriend Corey for this one because I feel like all of my mistakes have so far been guy mistakes, and I feel like girls maybe don't make these same mistakes, but I do want to get a second opinion here. I wanted to ask you, Corey, this is kind of totally putting you on the spot. What's a money mistake for you that you've made maybe in the past? Because I feel like all my money mistakes are just pure dumb guy money mistakes.
Man, you putting me on the spot. You should not have said that I was on video. I mean, when I was younger, I would want to buy makeup over paying a credit card. That was a
That's
little
fair.
stupid. Yeah, I think I just wanted to impress a certain someone.
Okay, that makes me feel good. Okay, I've done that too. All right.
Yeah, you too?
Yeah.
I think some of the bad mistakes I've done has to do with dating.
The things we do.
The things we do. Or for food. Also, if we're talking about like investments I've made, school, 100,000%. No.
College, because you're working a job that's paying you like 50 grand per year that has nothing to do with your major, right?
Yep. School is a good investment. I don't want to say that it's not.
You don't want the hate.
Exactly. But that's it.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Well, there we go. Girls, chime in, please. I'd love to hear it. These next few money mistakes really start to define me, hence why I change scenes to signify how important they are to me. They really are close to my heart, and no matter how old you are, I think they're gonna be really useful if you take the time to hear me out. And money mistake regret number 5, and this is a big one, is not letting my significant other at that time ever pay for me. What does that mean? Well, because I'm a guy, if you couldn't tell, I always felt pressured to pay for everything, for the stuff, for the food, for the travel, for the vacations, because I made more money at the time and I felt like it was my responsibility as the man in the relationship to pay for everything. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? Plus it makes me feel good. And that was a terrible, terrible mistake because ultimately what it created was a feeling of resentment because I was able to support both of us and she was not able to be independent. And because of that, it created this sensation of her stuff is her stuff and my stuff was shared our stuff. And in order to have a successful relationship, and this is obviously one of many things, but your partner has to feel like they're invested in you, not only emotionally, which is hopefully a given between two people in a healthy relationship, but also financially. I know it might seem like I'm just saying this because it's an easy way to save money, but I truly believe that if you feel like you're an investor in something, you're gonna treat that thing or that person with a lot more respect because it's something you grew. It's a plant that you watered with your own resources and you're proud to watch it grow. It becomes a lot harder to walk away from your mistakes when you know you've invested not only emotionally, but financially. And because I didn't let my partner feel that they were financially invested in me, it was easy to walk away and make short-sighted decisions that ultimately hurt the both of us. But despite it all, we still stayed together for all the wrong reasons. Lesson learned, find yourself a sugar mama. Just kidding. I was a sugar daddy in that relationship, so obviously it didn't work out. But in my current relationship with Corey, I make substantially more money than she does at this moment in time. And I still let her pay for us and for me from time to time because, well, it makes me feel loved and appreciated and it makes her be an equal. And that is so important in a healthy relationship. The illusion of equality. I'm kidding. Please don't hurt me. I'm just kidding. Equality is extremely important in any given relationship. In all seriousness, out of all the mistakes on this list, please don't make this one because it's the easiest one to make because we get warm and fuzzy feelings inside when we pay for other people, right? I know, and it feels awkward to let someone else pay for you, especially when you know they make less money than you. But I promise it's necessary to keep things healthy and balanced. You need to learn how to give back this feeling of altruism that is all too easy to get just a little selfish and greedy with. And money mistake regret number 6 was being too complacent. In my first career where I was earning roughly 50K per year, and not only because I was financially stable, but more importantly, I was working for my heroes. These are people that I would watch in Russia, worlds away, growing up on VHS tapes, watching them do magic tricks, and I would learn from them. And eventually I would come to Vegas and I would meet them and I would befriend them. And intellectually and financially, that held me back so much. And eventually we had a falling out, and I regret so many of the decisions that I made at that time, so many sacrifices that I made to be an intrapreneur, as it's called. Is it intrapreneur or intrapreneur? I hate manure, McFly. I was just treating it like it was my business, but I was just an employee. When I left that company, I realized that no matter how close I felt to my boss, he will never and can never be my friend. And that's a hard pill to swallow, especially if you find yourself in a job that you absolutely love and you're hanging out with your bosses late at night, going to see movies, you're talking about love, you're talking about life, relationships, failures, successes. You're ultimately building a company together and a brand. And of course, that's going to inevitably bring you closer together. But despite all of those life experiences, They cannot be our friends. You are their asset and liability. Your relationship is governed by the laws of money and business. Their whole goal is to pay you as least as possible while keeping you barely satisfied enough to keep you from leaving. No boss will ever wake up one day and say to themselves, "Ooh, you know what? Andrei is such a great worker. He works so hard for me. You know what he needs? He deserves a raise." Said no boss ever, okay? It's sad, but it's true, and I'm really upset that I made the decisions that I made in my career about somebody who I thought was truly my friend. But lesson learned, and I want you to always remember that. And my 7th biggest money mistake and regret was trying to get rich quick, and I thought I could just buy my way out of all of my money problems. I started investing into penny stocks. I started listening to guru advice. I subscribed to every stock picking newsletter under the sun and bought every expensive overpriced course, thinking that if I could figure this out, I could claw my way out of the poverty that is facing so many immigrants. But life doesn't work that way. And when we're desperate and when we're broke, we tend to think that the answer to all of our money problems lies behind this paywall. That if we only had a couple $100s or this couple $1,000s, we could find the answer by buying this course or this advice from this money guru who's so successful. But that's not how it works, because you will never get something for nothing. The law of thermodynamics, yo. Life's your biggest teacher, because energy can never be created nor destroyed. It is only rearranged. So this is gonna sound new age, hokey, and a little spiritual, so I apologize, but real wealth is created from within. If you can be confident with yourself without the need of any external influences, without the products and the stuff that we chase, without the need to go out somewhere to spend money and the ability to say no, and be confident despite maybe like me feeling sometimes like a have-not, you're gonna do great in life. There, I just saved you thousands of dollars of buying useless courses to realize what I realized by buying useless $2,000 courses. More importantly, don't ever live your life with rugrats. Rugrats are bad. Don't ever do rugrats. Don't regret anything. Instead, go to Webull, fund your account $100, get 2 free stocks, one of which is worth up to $1,400. Amazing. Maybe you'll get that one. Go to Robinhood, get another free stock, and start investing your money. I'd love to hear your money lessons and your stories. Love you. See you all on Monday and Friday. Bye-bye. I just winked twice. That's weird. Rugrats!